Right guys, so today I'm going to tell you that the gym industry is actually a scam. Alright, I was in a gym up until recently, but I cancelled my membership. Why is that? I felt like I wasn't strong enough to be training with weights. And that might sound a bit stupid. But I come from an endurance background. I used to be a distance runner, very skinny, very little power. I was very, very bad at like running up hills. Hills were like my weakness. Because I was all endurance, no power. I was watching a video by Mo Farah, No Easy Mile. He joined the Nike Oregon project in 2011, and Alberto Salazar made Mo Farah do a test. So he said that today we're going to do 200s on the hills, and he said that normally for men they would run the 200s up the hill 2.5 seconds slower than they would on the track, which is dead flat. Mo Farah's differential was 4 seconds slower. And Salazar told him, yeah, for women it would normally be 5 seconds. For men, 2.5 seconds. For women, 5 seconds. And Salazar told Mo Farah, right, I want you to think about this overnight and come to me tomorrow and come to a conclusion. And next day Mo Farah went up to Alberto Salazar and he said, I realised that the reason I'm so slow up that hill is because I have no power. I'm all endurance. Because men normally have more power than women do. That's why women tend to slow down more when they go up the hills. And I was the exact same. I was really bad on the hills. Like I'll be doing sessions in my athletics club, and we might be doing kilometer repeats. We do like 1 kilometer repeat on the flat and then another kilometer repeat on the hill. I keep up with the guys in my club on the flat kilometers, but on the hill kilometers I couldn't keep up. They'd finish 15-20 seconds ahead of me. So yeah, I'm all endurance. Lifting weights was just too much for me. I kept decreasing the amount of weight I was lifting. I was just bench pressing the bar and stuff. I still felt tired and exhausted and run down from doing that. I started bench pressing a 10 kg bar, felt the same, and then I cut down to a 5 kg with 2.5 kgs in both hands. Same thing happened. So I stopped working with weights. I started just doing bodyweight exercises. I felt like I didn't feel tired or exhausted. I was able to do much higher volume, if you know what I mean. And I feel like I've gained some muscle, as you can see. I used to be a complete twig, so that amount of muscle in my biceps, that's a lot more muscle than I used to have a few months ago. So yeah, from that experience, I've learned that when it comes to getting stronger in the gym, high rep lightweight is the way to go. I have noticed some of the strong guys in the gym before lifting light weights, but I just assumed they're only warming up. That can't be their main phase of the workout. Because I didn't pay too much attention to them, because you're not really supposed to. You're supposed to focus on yourself. But sometimes it is good to keep an eye out on what some of the stronger guys are doing and kind of incorporate that into your own training. But I think the whole idea of the gym nowadays, people go there and they lift ridiculously heavy weights. They can barely lift. They're not using the correct form, and they're just hurting themselves. They get injured. And the personal training is just a complete scam. The whole point of it is to get as fit as you possibly can in 6 weeks. But that's not sustainable. You can't keep training at that intensity and keep improving. If you train the way I do, with high repetitions, no weight, just bodyweight exercises, like I do. This is what I do for bicep curl. It's just the movement of the bicep curl that makes me stronger, because I do quite a lot of repetitions. Okay, and yeah, as I get stronger, I probably will go to a gym maybe and start lifting light weights. But at the moment, I feel like I'm not ready for that. Coming from a purely endurance background, having basically no power or strength at all. As a distance runner, probably should have focused a little bit more on, power and strength, but I didn't, so I paid the price for it. And, so that's the thing. I look around and I see very few people training at the gym the way I did, if you know what I mean. It's all about, heavy lifts, and I was in a gym before, like a few years ago, and I didn't really I trained with 2 guys, and I didn't really know what I was doing. I kind of looked to what these guys were doing. One guy would go to the gym and he would only do shoulder press. he lifted very heavy weights. He would struggle to lift the weight, and he'd always have this look of discomfort on his face. And yeah, he only trained twice a week. So yeah, he could train like that sustainably, but the problem is he's only doing shoulder press, and he's doing so little volume, he'll never come close to reaching his potential. Another guy I was training with used to do just bicep curls with the machine, very heavy, and he'd also do pull-ups on the bar, you know, the hang bars, and that is very intense, and that's just not a good way to train. So yeah, you need to go into the gym, you need to do light weights or body weight. If you're a beginner and you're a bit skinny, I think you're better off to just stick with body weight exercises. Try to get a decent amount of volume, you know, yeah, I think that really is the best way to train, and work all body groups, you know, do things like, you know, work your chest, shoulders, work your legs, work your biceps, triceps, back, you know, all those kind of exercises. And yeah, you can do the same exercises that you would in the gym with weights, but just without weights. Like you can do rows with no weights, you can do floor press, you can do push-ups, you can do squats without weights. And yeah, when I first joined the gym, I had the complete wrong idea about training. I thought it was all about lifting heavy and doing low volume, but I've learned now that that's just not a good way to train. And I'm sure the elites do some heavy lifts. Like if you're doing power lifting competitions, of course you're gonna have to get your body used to lifting heavy weights, but I'm assuming that would make up a small percentage of those lifters' weekly volume. So yeah, I highly recommend you don't hire a personal trainer. Don't get ripped off, because in Ireland they often charge like €50 per the hour, which is a bit stupid. And I look at the YouTube videos, very few people seem to know how to train. It's all about, oh, lifting till failure and pushing yourself to the limit, you know, and that's not a good way of doing it, you know.